So before we dive into content, I thought it would be helpful if I gave you a little bit of background on how I came to be the internship expert and now speak to companies and universities across the country all about internships. I went to Indiana University at the Kelley School of Business. So when I was at Indiana quite a few years ago, my freshman year of college, I joined a business fraternity. And I met juniors and seniors who worked at my business fraternity and learned about their struggles in finding a full-time job after graduation. So they were struggling, and I knew I didn't want to be in that position a few years out. So I realized what I had to do was find internship experiences every year of college on my own. The Career Services Center wasn't equipped to help every student, freshman through senior, find internships. So this is when I realized there's a real power to networking. So I ended up getting internships every year of college. Not all of them were glamorous, but I learned a lot and had some valuable information to put on my resume. It was as I was researching for my book that I realized there was a real opportunity to help companies design more effective internship programs. Many companies, it's HR who is tasked with running and organizing their program, and they have a million other things on their plate. So designing the internship program can fall to the wayside. So I support companies through InternView in designing effective, meaningful internship programs. And the company has grown to also include professional development workshops for their interns and junior employees. Everything we talk about is transferable if you're an intern to a full-time employee. And we're going to focus today on networking and maximizing your summer to accelerate your career and become irreplaceable to the company that you're working for this summer. So now that you know a little bit about me, let's go through what we're going to talk about today. So we've given a little bit of an introduction, and now we're going to focus on networking. How do you build your network? How do you maintain your network? How do you leverage your network? And then we're going to talk about how that ties in to taking initiative this summer and making yourself irreplaceable. What is networking? I think for most people, it sends chills down your spine to think of going to a networking event. Networking is the most effective and efficient way to do a few different things. One, figure out what you want from your career. Also to understand the organization that you're working for. So this summer, you building a strong network at United Airlines, for example, will allow you to understand the perspective of holistically of how the organization operates. You'll also understand what it takes to be a great employee and team member. So there's a real secret and an art to networking. So the secret to building your network is an informational interview. I realized the power of an informational interview when I was in my summer internship at the community center in Cincinnati. It's an informal conversation. It's not stuffy like a regular interview. It's the foundation of a long-term relationship with someone in a professional context. It's a great way to learn about career path and opportunities, or even someone's personal life. It is not a job interview. It's actually the opposite of a job interview because you're in control. The other person's almost in the hot seat, although it should be pretty casual. So you now understand the importance of networking. You have to also take initiative. So I've interviewed hundreds of companies and executives to understand what they most value in a young employee, someone early in their career. What makes them want to rise that person to the top of their organization? The response I get is I value someone who takes initiative, someone who's proactive, someone who doesn't wait to be told what to do. So let's talk about how you can take initiative. The first thing you can do is observe and take notes. So everywhere you go this summer, every meeting you go to, every workshop you go to, bring a notebook and pen and take notes. Stay engaged. Part of this is just perception, because your image, your personal brand, is critically important to how others are perceiving you and thinking about you when they are making the decision about a full-time offer. You also want to brainstorm solutions to problems. So come up with ideas and opportunities that you can tackle. Then you want to map out a plan on how you're going to solve those problems. You don't want to go to a manager without an idea of how you would tackle it. You also want to schedule time to talk to your manager to discuss your ideas on how you can add value. One mistake a lot of interns and junior employees make is doing what I call a drive-by. Swinging by someone's desk when you have a question, you need an urgent response, and kind of ambushing them while they're working on something and asking your question. You don't want to do that. Always reach out, maybe it's via Skype or Slack or LinkedIn, and send them a message and say, hey, I have a question, I'd love to get on your calendar to talk about it with you, even for 10 minutes. You have to follow through. Always follow through. Following through means keeping them up to date on what you're working on, and even better, keeping them up to date on the results you're achieving. So gather data. Is what you offered or came up with or designed for the company, is it driving results? How much time are you saving people? This is also a great thing to add to your resume.